Now,
Okay. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another Genius Days, Flow Jedis. It's great to be here. And today we're talking about learning to love the body after trauma. Now, as we know, there's mini traumas to larger traumas, heartbreak, abuse, trigger warning for anybody listening. Really control and console yourself because this is a very deep topic and we are going to go into our own experiences with this. Ivan, do you want to kick it off with the disclaimers for the people listening?
Yeah, everybody. So you're responsible for your own self. We're not here to teach you. We're not here to change you. We're just here to be expressions of ourselves and our wisdom. May you borrow our wisdom and apply it into your own life. As well, being responsible for your own life, you're responsible for your own condition, and you're a grown adult. Make wise decisions. All right, that's the disclaimer. All right, we don't know nobody, no buffoonery, no shenanigans, no ooh, ooh ah, ah up in here. All right, I'm passing it on.
man, it's funny you should say that because we literally, during Fab Nation, we talked about the idea of going back to monkey and what the philosophical context of that is. And just by chance, it has a lot to do with self love. And I want to kick this podcast off with the ideas that we discussed during Fab Nation on going back to minimalism, where one of the main pillars has to be self love. And one form of self love is the loving of yourself, your body, and that can be done in many ways. Using the philosophy of Mike Tyson's coach Casamaro, when a body is stiff, there's a lot of tension. With tension comes a lot of negativity. A stiff boxer will never be able to move as fluid as a more loose boxer. Hence, you had the philosophy of motion releases tension, and tension is the enemy of the artist. That would be my spiel. What's up, Sumit or Alejandro?
Yeah, man. We really broke down that return to monkey thing. That was an incredible podcast. If you guys want to check that out on Flow Line Podcast for sure. So yeah, we were talking a lot about the idea of going back to the basics, back to the fundamentals, and what came up was also the alchemy concept of solve et coagula, which is dissolve and coagulate. We have to break something down in order for us to build something back up. And I think this directly applies to this idea of like really looking after ourselves after trauma because we are actually picking up the pieces of our heart again, right? We are actually going through this process of reinvention and really finding our strength again. So, in order to do that, we have to slow down because we live in such a toxic productivity culture that everything wants us to speed back up and speed our healing process. And hey, go to this weekend retreat and in 2 days you'll be cured, right? But instead, healing is a process that's different for everybody. And your pace in terms of your healing, I think I heard Ivan say this once actually, which was, time does not heal. Time makes us forget. It's what we choose to do in that time that heals. And so, really being able to understand that if we can slow ourselves down and really feel into our bodies again, we can really start to begin that transformation process. And what's interesting here is the word transform means trans, meaning beyond form. So we're actually going beyond beauty, beyond the form, beyond the physical form into spirit. So we have to break down and dissolve the body so we can coagulate the spirit. And this is the process that I want to kick us off with. What's coming up for you guys?
What's coming up for me is my experience with LSD because what it actually does to the mind is it removes all the ridges, right? All the You know, if you guys know how memory is made, the nerves, there's the nervous system, right? And it shoots electricity, right? And it'll shoot the electricity in a specific pattern, right? Like a super complex ass pattern. And then that holds the memory like that, right? So your memory is literally just like electrical, right? Or what will happen over time when things are repeating itself, it's sort of like when people walk on the grass for a very long time at the park, and sort of you begin to see this path. All right, these paths, that's what I'm saying, these grooves. And then what happens is you need to coagulate. It's a funny word. You need to coagulate. Um, and so that you basically like fill in those areas that were open, and then now you could start over, right? And essentially that's what we have to do for ourselves. It's stop thinking like that, right? And that's the problem, is like our mind will be thinking, oh, be positive, right? But our body will be like, nah. So we will be out of sync with each other, because one wants something, but the other one is so conditioned that it's like, are you sure? It's fighting the mind. It's literally saying like, are you sure? I mean, we haven't done it like that in forever. So why would we suddenly change? So even a lot of times when you're trying to develop yourself, your body will be like, that's a good one. Okay, all right. And they're all right, we're ramping it up harder. We're gonna release some hormones real quick. We're gonna do all these sorts of things so that you actually don't change. That's the fucked up part. Your body, when it's out of sync with your mind, and you've been, what you can call this slow trauma, right? Where it's like something happening over. It's like little, right? But it builds up, right? And that's why exercise is just the key. Exercise is just the fucking key, man. That's in it. And if you do it with intentionality, right? If you just like if you like, some people go into the gym to lose weight. All right, cool. But if you slightly switch the intention, be like, okay, I'm here to release energy or to ground myself, or to um you know yeah, just either one of those two is good. Well, then suddenly you shift, right? You have more control. Like that's why when I developed chakra workouts, I basically just I added the use of hands into stretches, into like pushing the energy as I'm doing a stretch. Like if I'm going down, I'll give you the example. Like if I'm going down, I'll go with my hands like that, right? Versus just this.
It's more fluid of emotion.
Yeah, it's more fluid. Oh fuck, I'm over here. Okay.
But Ivan, is it like a
Yeah.
Hindu squat where you just continuously move with emotion?
Uh, uh, I don't know. I don't know what a Hindu squat is. Uh, I was just kind of showing how my hands are involved in the act of moving, and then bringing and creating like vortexes.
I see.
Yeah, but that's part of my own process. What's coming up for you guys?
Well, for me, it would be. It feels a lot along the lines of releasing the tension so that you can perform ultimately. Uh, Seeing how I'm a dancer as well, I feel in it like, hey, a dancing day. Um, anyway, um, it comes down to the lines of creating such a vibe within by using dance as a medium to create a new state of mind. In my case, I used to be a freestyler, and before I would go out, I would literally practice a different move to different R&B songs or reggae, or you name it, and be in such a happy state that nothing else mattered but my own self-love, but my own self-appreciation, and with the mission, of course, going to the club to not only get these honeys, but actually express myself and have genuine fun. Of course, with these honeys, but you get the point. Sumit, what's up?
Yeah, man. So one process that's coming up for me is to notice where your body actually stores the tension and just being able to tune into that just daily and just remind yourself to ease that. It's been so helpful to remember to just lower my shoulders throughout the day, or to just relax my face, or to let go of the little moments of like fight or flight freeze energy that is coming up within me, and just being able to actively surrender and relax. And sleep and REM sleep naturally processes stress, but also like punching a pillow, running it out, shaking like dogs shake in the rain, just being able to use that just like dance as a way to process the emotions and what they, because energy in motion, energy isn't created or destroyed, only transformed, right? So we've got to transform that energy from the shame spiral, catch that, and then be able to move through that. So not really being able to resist it, because the unprocessed and unstored emotions, it becomes like a part of this junkyard. And the more gunk, the more we store it, the more we don't, the more we run away from it, the more it ends up showing up later in life. It's like it starts knocking on the door again. So we have to just let it in and allow it to do what it needs to do, and be guests with those emotions, and not get caught up in the competitive work culture, or like all this kind of stuff that we're being so influenced by. So, and also not being afraid of letting go of like toxic environments that we find ourselves in, right? Because a lot of the times we can get other people's emotions absorbed into our own emotions. And for empaths listening, it's like, hey, is this even my emotion that I'm dealing with right now, right? Is this even like my thing, my storyline, my values right now? Like, that's a big process. So really being able to give your body gratitude. I remember, Ivan, once when you were over, we were doing some personal training. And, when we first started working on the mindset stuff, I remember I had a limiting belief about my knees, that my knees are weak, my knees crack all the time. And one of the things that you got me to do was to speak to my knees. You remember that, bro? You were like, yo, speak to your knees and give it thanks, give it gratitude right now, because it held you up for so many years. Your lungs from years of smoking, like your all this kind of stuff. Like, give your body gratitude and be able to actually appreciate it and talk to it like if you're talking to a pet, if you're talking to a lover, if you're talking to a person. And that really helped, having that conversation with the body parts release something. And maybe you can speak into that a little bit more, bro. Like, what exactly is that process of that?
Yeah. So when you put your hand on a hot stove, right, and you're not looking, right, you turned around, you put your hand on, what happens, right? You pull back quick, right? And so what I learned when I was a kid was that it wasn't your brain, because your brain couldn't send a signal fast enough, right? So your own muscle, your own arm had to come up with a decision on its own on the spot, right? So that in itself is like your body has its own mind, right? And then we can take it even further and be like, okay, well, why don't you just tell your heart to stop working? Why don't you just tell your heart to stop? You can't. You'll have to destroy the whole machine in order to stop it. It's so relentless. It's so cool to think about it. It's like, you can't stop the heart. You can't do shit. You ain't stopping it, homie. So um, it's like the body has a mind of its own, right? Well, for one, it's all the cells that they're their own living beings, right? So so yeah, that's why I learned that's the sort of the philosophy behind like why you can talk to your own body, and it will communicate back to you, right? Because Dr. Joe Dispenza actually says that your body is the subconscious, right? And so if you're holding your memories in your body through your nervous system, through the electrical impulses, and your nervous system runs from head to toe, right? Well, then if you're ever feeling lonely, you could just have a conversation with your friends as your body, right? Or if you ever need something, right? Go to that piece, that body of yours. Oh,
Yeah,
my
man.
hand. What does my hand need? Or
One,
or my liver or my kidneys, and just like run through. You can if you have time, like one day you're just chilling, just run through the whole body, through the whole body, through the system, through your lungs, through the organs.
that just
See what
reminded
it
me of
is. What's
sorry,
up?
it's a bit. Yeah, so that just reminded me of something of like a reframe that I made during that time when I was actually speaking with my body parts. Is I stopped looking at my body as like, oh, these are bones, that this is muscle, this is like my fat on my body, this is like where, like looking at it very logically in a sense, or just like straightforward or objectively, but rather it's a composite of all the experiences that I've gone through. You know what I mean? And that was such a powerful reframe. And looking at like the beauty of how my body was able to survive so much stuff, and go through so much pain, and the beauty behind that. Like that's a powerful image that was brought up for me during that time. So yeah, if anybody wants to apply that idea, definitely start to take that mindset with you in terms of your body is just an experience holder.
I got a question for you, Ryan. Was there ever a time in your life where you didn't like the body you had, or you didn't feel gratitude for the body you had, or you wished you had somebody else's?
Well, I still do. So that's the open-ended answer I can give you. However, were there times where I was closer to the body that I wanted? The answer is yes. And often it had to do with both the combination of simply having the aesthetic very similar to the athletic build that I want, as well as a demonstration of what I associate with that kind of body, meaning the endurance, meaning the flexibility, meaning the martial arts prowess, meaning the the confidence that I carry it with, which not only changes the whole vibe of it, but also because there's literal proof that you have this kind of body. It's like the bragging or not bragging. I don't need to take off my shirt. You can see it. It's like looking at a mechanic. He has insane lower arm body strength. If he shakes your hand, he will crush it. He doesn't have to show it even. He's like almost careful. Like, let me not break my client's hand. It's that same idea. So it then becomes form begets function, or function begets form. So the answer would be no, not yet. But it's a continuous iterative process of moving towards what I believe is my desired body. If that makes sense. What's going? I see you're touching your soul patch, or there's definitely some ideas coming up for you, Alejandro.
It's just was different from what I felt like I asked. That's why I was trying to connect the
I
pieces.
see. Could you ask the question again?
Yeah, yeah. So, like, how have you evolved from the place of what like, because you're growing now, right? And you're really developing your body more, right? What's the difference in sort of the intention, the mindset, the how you see yourself versus, yeah, like, yeah, you're like, of course we're in a state of like constant building,
Right.
and so it's like, if you don't have a very high goal, and then it's a low goal and you reach it, well, then you kind of become really depressed. So, so it's like obviously you have a high goal, right? But at the same time, there's like a gap between it, between where you are and where you want to be. And there's a gap, right? So how are you moving through it, through the gap? In you feel me?
I feel you. As far as I can virtually feel you, let's say that. Um, how I go through my own process has a lot to do with I create the conditions for my outcome. Meaning, if I want to be a bit more uh, low body, low fat percentage, let's say that I need to create the conditions for that outcome. That would mean I have to fast and watch my macros. I have to watch what I eat and enjoy the process of doing that. And the intention would then be, on the one hand, the yang of I'm gonna get this shit done, and the yin of that process would be I will enjoy the process of doing, as if it's a self-healing and empowering um, process, event, so to speak. And while doing that, also be flexible with myself. Say I miss a meal, or I feel that my body needs more sustenance or more rest. I have to be as flexible to give it such.
How does that make sense?
Fair enough. Now I ask the so I'm gonna pass the question back to you. How do you deal with, let's say the quote unquote ideal body, and what is your internal process, be it towards getting that body, or and connected to that with, today's topic, the self-love aspect of it.
Are you asking me or Ivan, brother?
Ivan, technically. Or do you want to what's
Oh,
up?
bro, I thought you were asking soon. I thought you
Uh,
were. I could have sworn you said soon. I could answer.
Yeah, take it away, man.
Um, to me, I think I look pretty good. I feel safe. But of course, there has been a time where I did lose it all. I moved to London and I lost it all. I lost the abs. They weren't there. Biceps, the chest wasn't there. She was kind of flat. Um, and what happened was I didn't even know how to cook. I didn't know how to make food for myself, so I would just get food from takeout or a lot of Nutella and banana sandwiches. And well, at the same time, I wasn't feeling really good about myself either, right? Because of a relationship, a breakup that had happened in that year. Um, and so, my body began to reflect my mind. And, you know, I just want I just want to I just want to feel like I'm living my values, right? And if I can live my values like authentically, right? Then I can be happy, right? That's sort of like the key to happiness is like knowing what your values are and living them, right? Because every time you break your own values, you break um your own trust, you break your own respect, you break your own self-esteem, right? So it's not necessarily that the values are so important as much as not it's not that they're not, but it's more about you living those values, right? That's like the pillars, right? And if that'll make me feel happy, it does, right? And not necessarily always smiling, right? But definitely happy. Then I will just begin to shift, and my body will just become a representation of what's going on in my mind, right? And so, like yesterday, somebody said I posted a picture of where I'm at in my journey in terms of developing my body, and my aunt, she said, "Oh, a lot of hard work," and I was like, "Well, I don't really like that," you know. I was like, "Why does it have to be hard work? Why can't it be easy work?" Who said all it was a decision. All I'm seeing in myself is the decisions that I've made. That's all. That's all I can see. My history, like you said, Sum, is your history on you. So yeah, I was just high integrity. Just be high integrity, and trust me. Anytime somebody's suffering, they're not having integrity. So what's up for you, Sum?
Man, I just gotta give you kudos, man, because I've seen you transform by that time in UEL, and I've seen the body that you had then and the body you've transformed to now. You definitely need to post like a before after picture, brother. I think that'd be like a really cool thing that people need to actually see for the fact that you've been through that journey and that process. But yeah, um, the way that I've started to reframe my own body, this answering your question, Ryan, is I've stopped looking at it at weight loss. And because in terms of loss, we lose our keys, we lose our wallet, we lose ourselves, we lose someone we love. The whole idea of loss itself, right, is a very negative concept. So the way that I've started to reframe loss is it's more of a maintenance of a healthy size. And understanding that sometimes I'm not even hungry, I might just be bored, right? I just might be wanting to fill that void with food or wanting to fill that void with something else, right? So now when I'm slowly starting to do my flow training, which combines, you start off basically with energy flow, going into strength and endurance, and ending with a breath work and a meditation. That is the process of flow training. So once I'm going through that process, and there's a 7-minute version, a 30-minute version, and then like a 90-minute version. So in case there are days where you miss out on one, you can always go to the shorter version, right? So now when I'm doing my flow training, I'm actually embodying the fact of my character and seeing that as the end result. Seeing the version of me that already has that body, already has that mindset, and acting as is through the workouts, acting as is, it's already there. And also another thing that's really helped, and perhaps this can help you guys too with self-love, is one, mirror work. Looking at yourself in the mirror, just with your shirt off or with, just looking at your body naked, completely naked in front of the mirror, and just making eye contact with yourself and playing one of your favorite songs, or maybe a song that also encourages a deep level of emotional release that comes up, and not trying to compensate your body, not trying to flex, not trying to like do this thing, but just looking at yourself, like making eye contact with yourself and just letting that resonate is such a powerful activity that is extremely healing, because your eyes are the windows to the soul. So it's been there from the time you were, 4 years old to the time you are now. So it has direct connection when you're making eye contact with yourself in the mirror, has a direct connection to that healing aspect of you. And the second thing that I would say is imagine two characters that are watching you as you're moving your body around. For me, it's Osmosis Jones, cartoon character, and Bruce Lee. So I imagine these two characters watching me as I'm moving my body. And one, Osmosis Jones, is the epitome of health because he's a cop, literally a cop in the body. So if I eat a snack, out of time, it's like beep, beep, beep. It sets off my Osmosis Jones sensor. And I just stop myself. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to indulge myself in this to fill some void. I'm just going to notice the boredom, Notice the feelings of anxiety within and deal with that right away. And Bruce Lee energy is very like adaptable, you know, very versatile, very competent, being able to use the skill set and like training to be able to make myself stronger. So that's my own process that I use for to go into body work. But yeah, what's coming up for you guys as we
Yeah,
wrap up?
bro. Mirror work. Oh my god, son of a fucking bitch. Mirror work. Oh my god, bro. One of the most powerful things that you could do for yourself to be in full awareness. This is what I call it's just like no secrets, right? No secrets. Don't keep any secrets from yourself, right? Know what it is you look like, right? Take off your fucking clothes, go into a full standing mirror, look at your whole body. Look at your whole body. At your whole body. Don't avoid any aspect of your body. Don't hide anything from you. Right now, I'm not asking you to bend over and check out your butthole. You know, you very much could. I'm not against it, but get some sunlight in that shit. You know what I mean? Get some high quality light up in that ass, bro. That's fucking good. You know, like side note, the sun is really good for us, right? Yeah, right. It's great for us. But when we don't expose certain parts of our body to the light, those it just is not as good. It's not good. So we strengthen things with light, right? At the end of the day, you're a light being, right? Go spend some time in the light. Go spend some time in the sunlight, in the moonlight. Spotlight, moonlight,
I just started singing the same song.
I know. I'm always singing. That's my girlfriend. She calls me her radio. um and yeah, so I've personally have done that aspect of looking at yourself fully naked in the mirror. And I mean, you start to be like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like, I thought I looked better. I seriously thought I looked better, right? But you got to know where your weaknesses are, right? And if you know what your where you like really know what your weaknesses are, right? And fully acknowledge that shit. Fully acknowledge that shit, right? Because if wherever you have a weakness, it means you're overcompensating somewhere else, right? Because that's what the body does as a whole, as a system. When one of them, when one, this is what I told Pam. We were doing some chakra workouts. I was like, wherever you feel the pain, that's not where the pain originates. The pain originates somewhere else. Where you feel the pain is what's being affected, right? So the cause is somewhere else in the body, right? So like if you're driving, right, and let's just say you break your tires, the tires pop, right? What will begin to happen is the metal is the rim is going to be at the effect of the weakness of the tires, right? So there was the original break, and that original break hurt something else, right? So whenever you feel pain in yourself, find that, and then you have to create you have to follow the steps, follow the muscles, follow the nerves, and follow the bones to what is surrounding in the area that's pushing it there, right? Yeah. So that's how I'm feeling. Do you guys have any questions so far?
I have a question, man. Well, I want to get into something because you mentioned sunlight, which is so important because you know when we get into that freeze state from trauma, right? Trauma is like a lot of shock and confusion that happens to us, right? And so the amygdala gets activated, right, which is a fear response in our minds, and so that's why we shut down. And the thing that can actually console that, if we're talking about a biohack here, is serotonin, right? And serotonin is from that sunlight. You can get it through a lot of supplementation like omega-3s, ashwagandha, and a couple of other ones too. 5-HTP if you're into that. and foods that release tryptophan. But I know that you said that serotonin is created in the gut, right? So could you tell the audience on what to do if they're feeling that freeze? Like if they feel that freeze response kicking in from the body, like what would be their next steps in order to get that serotonin in them?
When you feel that freeze, or if you're ever feeling like typically like shit happens in the moment, right? Like everybody can be a fucking peaceful ass person living in the mountains, right? But when we're here in the fucking practical world, in the world of practice, right? Shit happens on the spot, right? So it's like, how do you deal with it on the spot, right? Well, for one, I use my imagination to taste something, right? To my imagination to be as if I just bit a lemon, right? That's gonna pull you out. If you could take a cold shower, take a cold shower, right? It's got to become a sensorial. You got to do something for your senses because that's where you're experiencing it, right? Yeah, you're having the thought, right? But you're not feeling the thought, right? Thoughts don't have feelings. Thoughts just create feelings, right? God damn, that's just fucking dope as hell, man. That's so clean. So yeah, it's always about feeling. It's so simple, bro. It's so silly, it's so simple, bro. It's like feeling. Let it feel. And don't avoid it, because the big problem that's gonna happen is let's just say you get anxiety. Like let's just say you want to, I don't know, whatever you want, you're gonna go through. You're gonna go talk to a girl, or you're gonna go ask for a raise, or you're going to your kids are all going off to college, right? And there's that nervous experience, that nervous feeling. And what will happen is next you're gonna say to yourself, "Oh, don't feel that. Don't get nervous. Don't get nervous. Don't get nervous." Right? And then that just reinforces the fact that you're feeling nervous. It's not actually taking it away, right? It's like when somebody, I'm reading a book and somebody got shot inside of a grocery store, right? And this random bystander was yelling at the guy who got shot, "Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay." Right? And she's obviously not okay in her own self, yelling it to that person. And it's like that's exactly what it's like for ourselves. It's it it's like a fat person telling you, it's like a super obese person telling you that you have to eat right. It's completely like, it's like, what? It's not even, it's like, that's not even what you're saying. Is like, I would, it's good advice, but I'm not going to take that advice from you. Right. And so it just perpetuates. So don't, it's like I tell people, your thoughts are not your thoughts. That's how I free myself from whatever bullshit's going on, because I'm like, it's not my thought. It's just a thought. Right. That's dope stuff. How you guys feeling about it?
Man, you made some interesting points, man.
I saw Jason was looking deep into the fucking abyss. He was seeing that shit. He saw something, bro. Or maybe he's sleepy. I can't tell. Oh, what about you other guys?
Cody says yes. So what came up for me was, right, this something connects all the way to being a being of integrity. If you yourself are not have integrity, why would you even listen to yourself? And that you have this negative spiral going down, and then the negative thoughts tend to pop up and you tend to believe them. Well, exactly, if you start to, do the pacing process, of course, building a good person with integrity as one of your base characters, and you start to practice the mirror work, the keeping no secrets for yourself, like this is the place where I start from, and I acknowledge it, and then moving towards something greater is where you start to feel the power that's truly hidden on an all that negativity that shouldn't even be there. Am I
Yeah,
correct in
bro.
saying that?
I love that integrity element, and it's so true with what you gave the example of an obese person telling someone like, you should probably eat better, and it's just this great example because so many times we're out of alignment. It's like you know, it's like a health person smoking cigarettes, or it's like the person who is, and of course they're like, centennials who are drinking whiskey and like living past 100, and I always wonder, it's like, what is it about that? And it's definitely intentional, right? There's definitely something intentional about this aspect of showing up differently. So if you're not getting the results that you're getting, check your alignment, check your integrity, check where you're doing things that are, making you move 3 steps back, and the actions that you're taking that are actually taking you away from the progress. So yeah,
Can I say
that's
something?
yeah. Go ahead.
That I realized that we're always in integrity, and I'll tell you what that means. So you might not have integrity, but you're always integrity. You might not have integrity, but you're always in integrity. Integrity being what you're held with, right? How you're being held. Now, see, whenever you break your own values, it's because you had another value that you thought was more important, right? So you have to go back. You have to literally go deep and be like, why am I self-sabotaging myself? Why am I not sleeping on time whenever I need to sleep on time? Why am I waking up earlier? Why am I complaining a lot? Why, like, it's just like Tony Robbins says, if you wanted a relationship, you'd already be in a relationship. That's what he tells single people, right? And that's a fact. That's a straight fact. Is you literally do these things to yourself. You're doing it to yourself right now by sitting there and being yourself, looking all fucking cute and shit. All of y'all. But yeah, how y'all feeling? Y'all feeling good?
Feeling good, brother. Just processing all that's been said today, from the, slowing down, mirror work, gratitude for your body, just don't not getting caught up in what society's example of beauty and, all this kind of stuff is, and just being able to see your own body for what it is, and ultimately being able to heal it through the process of healing. Is not about, finding yourself, it's about creating yourself, so really engage with that process of creation and intentionally put in the patterns, put in the inner work that is required for you to let go. And it's a paradox where you gotta put effort in to finally let go. It's like you're putting the pressure on to pressure off. And that's the beauty. That's the infinity symbol. That is life. And so we move through the seasons, like, winter to summer to spring to, and it just keeps moving, and we keep evolving. So let's keep evolving, guys. I know we're coming to a close. So if anybody has any questions, now would be a great time to ask us.
Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun,
I want to
dun,
hear Jason speak.
dun, dun.
Jason Chavez, what's up, brother? Any questions?
Not really. Other than, have you guys healed anyone before, like cancer or anything disease-wise?
Nobody in the world can heal. We only are channels for the
That's a
energy to flow.
that's a big lie. But I mean, if you limit yourself to that, then I'm not gonna blame you. But
No. My thought is bigger. My thought is actually bigger because I'm not the owner of my powers. God is.
It's that a very strange paradox that you have as a coach. I can never directly help with the issue at hand, but I can help guide the client, the patient towards that precise pinpoint. Me as a business consultant and business owner, even if we have pinpointed the cause, we need to collaborate together in order to get it fixed. But it doesn't stop there. It's a continuous process, and it's very similar to how you would heal a body. Say you get a low kick. I happen to know that you do Muay Thai or kickboxing. Now, if you get a low kick and it's well placed, you need to give it time to heal. Put on the cold patches, the hot patches, let it heal, and at some point, the pain sensors uh, die out. You get stronger muscles. You do the squats, like the buzzword style of training, where you do a squat and then kick the shit out of the thighs, and then you condition yourself to be able to overcome it. Meaning, what if cancer is nothing more than a result of a continuous process, a lifestyle? Meaning, it comes very close to what Alejandro says on you might not be a person of integrity, but you are in integrity because there's a higher perceived value that for some reason out equates what the true value is, meaning you goddamn know that you need to eat better and take better care of yourself, but do you do that? No, because it's what you truly perceive as such. It's all connected, man. It's all connected. If you truly believe that you are a certain way, then yes, motherfucker, you will behave a certain way. If you're great at high kicks and you truly believe it and you have demonstrated it, then yes, those high kicks will knock a motherfucker out because their intent is there, that intent to fucking kick his jaw off is there. Does that make sense, Jason Chavez?
well, I was just asking a yes or no question. It wasn't.
Oh, okay, fair enough. And then I went into a whole spiel about it. Fair point. Can you heal cancer? I believe it should be healable.
No,
There is a very
I was asking if you guys ever tried to. It wasn't really a complicated question.
oh, fair enough, fair enough. See, Ryan makes shit complex again. Um,
Well, I mean, not just cancer. I mean, anything else like heart diseases, anything.
hmm.
Where do you think all of the diseases or illnesses are coming from, if I may ask you, Jason?
Hmm?
Where do you think the illness and the disease is coming from, if I may ask you?
You said the illness?
And where do you think the illness, like that cancer thing that you're talking about, where do you think that comes from?
Well, I think the main cancers probably come from the radiation that our government created. And then you got heart diseases, which probably comes from the fast food and all the grease. So bad habits of eating. Of course, you can't heal it all, but you can put a big dent.
It very much depends. Maybe you can do a research on like energy also, and you can do research also on like a deeper stuff, because food, yes, it's important, but how you feel about yourself, what you think about yourself, traumas, generational stuff also passed down, like doing bit of research on, not just food. It will make sense a lot.
Well, I didn't just say just food. I just mainly think it's probably the nukes and the shit that we've been doing to get off our planet. But like I definitely like to dream and leave my body mainly to go see the truth. I mean, that took a lot though. It's not like I did it because I wanted to. That took years of like you said, practicing and your energy. I didn't switch up none of this because I wanted to see the truth within. I think our blood cells has everything. Everything already happened. I already went to work tomorrow. I already died. I already been reborn. That's how I perceive life. Everything's in our blood cells. I'm you and you're me, pretty much.
Incredible, man. That's a very deep thought, and I'm reminded of that you are the placebo. So in a sense, if you tell someone that when a doctor says to you, "Hey, you have this terminal illness and you're never going to make it," it creates this self-fulfilling prophecy that they're not going to make it, right? But if you give somebody hope, and if you tell someone that, "Yay, hey, you can change around your lifestyle, you can do this," and there's a placebo effect, but then there's the nocebo effect, right? So understanding that is a deep part of healing too, for sure, man. Thank you for sharing, brother. It's nice to meet you.
For sure, because like disease also has to do with like you got to ask yourself why you have that disease. It's not an accident that you got that disease. It
Well,
is
you know,
no
obesity.
accident. Yeah, like I see from my own
That's
self.
a
Like
that's a
I get hurt
disease.
in my hand, or
Back and forth.
I grow fungus somewhere. Like if I grow fungus in my feet, I'll be like, son of a bitch, I hadn't even been feeling grounded, right? And the fucking medicine never even works. I had to deal with it on a mental level, and then it fucking disappears, right? It's pretty trippy
It's
how that.
all it's all genetics, bro. Like, some people are born with obesity. They don't have a choice. Genetics.
Yeah, but we can change our genetics. We can turn on and turn off genes. It's a very real thing.
Yeah, no, it is, but I don't know. Tell it to it's
It's just like life is simple but hard. It's just because it's simple but it's just challenging. So a lot of times it could just be karma, like a person chose to experience life like this, right? I know that I've chosen the abuse and manipulation and lies that I chose to go through. And I think at the same time, at a grander scale, all of us here chose to be alive right now for the great awakening. We all have a choice. Yes, epigenetics, we can change. But yeah, sometimes people went in and were like, okay, I want to have a really skinny body. That's just the body I'm going to have whenever I come to Earth, right? Or it's just, yeah, sometimes just like there's certain things that we can't cure, and not because we can't, but because we shouldn't. It's not our place to cure. We only show up whenever it's our place, whenever we are needed. In that moment, the energy will run through you. You don't have to worry about it. Like it'll be instinct and heaven mixed together. Do you guys like that? Heaven and instinct? It sounds cool, right?
Bro, I like how you took that black pill and just like spit it out. You're like, no, it's all genetics. You're like, oh, man. Oh, this is an incredible conversation. I am going to end with Eckhart Tolle saying his quote that I just recently heard, and it's accept each obstacle as if you had chosen it. Amor fati. I love my fate.
Oh man, it's gonna make me cry. It's deep. Everybody, I'm doing chocolate workouts at 12 p.m. Central Time. Ryan is coming. Pam Cheese coming. Sumedh, maybe he got a 50% discount. Maybe he's coming. Chloe, you're invited as well. If you want to come, that's on you. Jason Chavez, you know the word. You heard the drill. Love you guys. Peace and love.
All right, awesome, guys. Wrapping up now. Have an incredible day. Thank you for attending another Genius Days, and may you never be the same.
It was